President Obama, there's been a lot of talk about this. We had Edward Snowden, since then we've had a court case, maybe two rulings, I guess, two different judges. We've had a presidential panel, the report to the president. He's had meeting after meeting after meeting. What can we expect tomorrow? He's giving a speech tomorrow at the Justice Department.
Yeah, that's right. So this has all really been building up to this big speech at the Justice Department where the president's going to lay out essentially what he wants to do to reform the NSA, some of these other controversial surveillance efforts. And, it's not entirely clear what he's going to say, of course, but probably a large portion of it is going to tackle some of these most controversial efforts, what's called the metadata surveillance effort. This is when the government kind of tracks not what you're saying on the phone, but who you're calling, how often you're calling them, things like that. And it looks like he's going to kick a lot of it to Congress. For the most part, there's been a lot of complaints from either side about what he's going to say. And so it seems like he's really going to take the pass and kind of say this is, with that program in particular, he's going to say this is probably a thing for Congress to decide, and this is things you guys should take a look at for the time being.
His panel, with 5 intelligence experts, including Richard Clarke, who was former national security, not the director, but he was national security,
including Mike Morrell, who's also the former
Mike Morrell,
the CIA.
Right. Richard Clarke there under President Bush, and before him, I think it was there under President Clinton too, toward the end. But at any rate, so a prestigious panel. I mean, they recommended.
No question.
All right. The telephone companies have all this data anyhow. So leave all that data with the telephone companies, and if NSA has reason to suspect someone to be somehow involved with terrorism, then they go to court, they get a search warrant, just like a cop would have to have, police would have to have one to search your house, and then they get that information from NSA. I mean, that was probably their number one recommendation. Leave the data with the phone companies until the NSA has reasonable suspicion to access that data. Is the president going to accept that one?
Probably not on its face, not necessarily.
That's one of the ones he's going to kick to Congress.
It seems like it, yeah. And there's been a lot of pushback from that. A lot of privacy, civil liberties advocates have said, we don't want the government being able to go to the phone companies do that. That doesn't really change the situation for us. They said, and phone companies have also said, we don't want to keep that. We don't want to be seen as an arm of government. That's a liability for us. It's very expensive to maintain all these records. And so there's been really pushback on both sides for that one. And so the president doesn't really necessarily... He doesn't want to seem like he wants to keep the program, although he's obviously said, the administration has said that this program has supported preventing specific terror attacks. There's obviously some debate about that. But so it seems, according to reports, what I've been hearing is that he's really been waffling on this issue, and that eventually he's going to say, probably tomorrow, that this is an issue for Congress to decide. In the meantime, we'll keep it with the NSA, but Congress should take a look and see what you guys want to do with it.
Which to me means he's really caving in, wimping out, and missing a huge opportunity.